Hey guys, new video here. I want to talk about how I run my contracts for the last 2 days after the big patch and how I set up my masters that farm those contracts, okay? And at the end of the video, I'll talk about my day 2 progress on farming a Headhunter directly from contracts only with a few blueprints thrown in. Right, so we're doing pretty well. We're like, but I'll talk about this later. So first, what contracts am I running? I'm kind of like thinking about what questions I get asked a ton on stream. So this video can be a good resource for the frequently asked questions. So most often I get asked, what contracts are like worth running? Which ones do you run? Why do you like them? Which masters do you use for that? You know, do you ouch your contracts? So let's get into it. First, easiest to answer question: do I ouch my contracts? Yes. Okay, because you know it gives you alert level reduction, which is very, very good for opening more chests. More chests is more multiplier to loot and the possibility of big loot. So that's why I will ouch every single contract. Make sure to roll it the same way you would a map. So like, don't make sure you're looking for reflect, cannot regen, things you don't want to do, take them off. And then of course, there's this mod called like lockdown occurs immediately when alert level is full. This is an example of that. You see how it says the third line down, lockdown occurs immediately, and that's pretty bad. So I would scour and ouch and re-roll that, right? So that's how I roll the maps. And then in terms of what I'm running 3 missions specifically and nothing else right now. And the reason for that is because I find these to be a very good balance of like investment, reward, fun, things like that, right? So and also the masters are pretty good. So the first one is lockpicking. Lockpicking, I use karst, meaning that when I go in here and I put in a lockpicking thing, I could pick Talina, I could pick Huck. Huck is like probably the worst rogue out of all of them, so you like never use Huck for anything. If you can help it, okay? Talina is pretty good for some things, but for lockpicking and for opening big chests, karst is like pretty god tier, because 40% less raising alert level means that like after you're done opening all the big chests, and you'll pretty much always be able to open all the big ones, you can still get a ton of small ones. His perk does not apply to the small chests anymore, but the small chests are like definitely not as good as the big ones. So don't worry about that. Just use karst for lockpicking. I run this because in his pool, he has 2 things I really like: currency, right? Oh, Lily's here. Hello, Lily. He has currency, and then he has fragments. And so when you open a currency chest, no explanation needed. You know, you get a big exalt. Maybe one day you get a mirror. Who knows? Very consistent flow of currencies that I was using to funnel into the exalts, right? I'll convert everything into the exalts, and then that's how you buy the big boy items. And it is it's kind of ridiculous how good karst is, right? The lockpicking missions, the way that he opens the doors is a little progress bar. He's really fast. He's not like Niles or Gianna that might veer off course and go attack a mob. He usually does exactly what you want him to do. So very reliable master as well. And I find the lockpicking to be extremely fun, right? Because who doesn't like exalts and like all these like pure currencies that are easily convertible into whatever currency you're going to trade with or you're going to use, right? So lockpicking currency, and then the fragments can be anything. It can be Uber Elder fragments, Shaper fragments, Sack fragments, Moral fragments, all that, anything like fragment related. That's also really nice because you can run that kind of content as well. So I would say lockpicking is actually my favorite thing to do in terms of contracts, and I'll talk about trinket in a little bit as well. So second, demolition. So demolition is my second favorite, okay? And demolition is my second favorite because you get to use Vindiri. And if you look at Vindiri's perk, he basically can double the contents of a chest. This is like kind of crazy because not only can he double the contents of any chest, he can double the contents of the safes at the end. He doesn't double the contents of like loot drops from monsters and stuff like that, but the safe, you know how some maps like office and like tunnels and stuff like that, or bunker and like office and things like that have 2 giant safes at the end, and those drop like currencies, random items all the time. Really good to open those. Well, he can double those too. We found that out today, and that's really good. So that is my go-to contract. When you put this demolition in, make sure you always select Vindiri, right, given that you have him leveled up enough. And his downside to his perk is that he causes more raising of alert level. So everything you do that raises alert level is like multiplied by like 1.3, right? So some things you might not be able to get to all of them, right? If you have a longer contract or like a legacy blueprint that has a like a longer layout, you might not get to everything, and that's totally fine, because he's more than capable of providing you like that big juice and like that good feeling when he doubles it. Okay, once again, if items drop and then like half a second to a second later it drops again, right, identically, everything on your loot filter is doubled, then you know that it procced. Okay, it's very, very easy to tell, and it's sometimes it feels like he's proccing all the time, right? So yeah, insane, because like you're mostly focused on the big chest, and if you double a big chest, you know, pretty great rewards there. So that's why I really love Demolition. In terms of the rewards that I like from Demolition, a lot of people don't like the blight, or sorry, a lot of people don't like the metamorph, but I actually kind of like it. The delirium is the big one, right? It's probably like the least spawning one, but when you get one, you get like you can get delirium orbs, you can get splinters, right? If you double those, big money. So that's really awesome. But then aside from that, you will get blight and metamorph as well, right? So if you go in and you hit a blight chest, you can get blighted maps. The higher tier ones still sell for a lot. You can run them yourself, you can sell them. They give you the oils, right? Oils are kind of important. I mean, golden oils are still 20 something C. Got one today, got some silver oils, and also the metamorph has the catalyst. Now only prismatic and fertile are really worth anything, you know, like 3C, 4C, whatever, maybe a little bit more in bulk, but you'll kind of need those catalysts, right? Because think about how often like early league you're changing out your rings, you're trying out new things, trying out amulet, maybe a new belt, and you kind of need these catalysts to drop unless you want to go on the trade site and trade from. So that's also really nice. But I think right now the metamorph is maybe like the least valuable of the chests, so maybe prioritize Deli and Blight chests above that. Okay, so Vindiri, but the biggest draw is that like Vindiri is like super OP. Okay, and the things are good. And then the last one I'll run is Deception. Now Deception is with Gianna. Okay, when you put in your Deception, you always select Gianna pretty much. I would never select Niles, even though he has like kind of a cool perk, I guess, but definitely not as good as Gianna. I'll tell you in a second why. So when you run this, the things that you'll notice the most is the divination chest, right? Like the divination card chests will have stack dicks mostly. They can have random div cards just drop. You can drop a doctor, you can drop a house of mirrors just randomly, but a lot of your money, so today and yesterday, about just over 4 exalts of pure value came from the stack dicks, because you can sell those for like 70 to 1 or something like that, and so that's super good, and it's kind of fun to open. I would really suggest you, okay, this is like also a common question, should you open or sell your stack dicks? And you should absolutely sell them. Okay, like most people I hear from, and me included, when I tried out myself, you open like a couple hundred, you're gonna get absolutely nothing. Okay, yeah, you hear stories of people getting a doctor, house of mirrors, but like the expected return is so low that you should be selling them. Okay, so you get that. You get Harbinger gets a lot of exalted shards. You can drop ancient orbs, ancient shards, things like that. Ancient orbs still pretty rare, like full, like today I ran a few. I didn't get any like full ancient orbs, but I got a lot of ancient shards. I think I ended the day with like 5 or 6 ancient orbs in total. So yeah, that's pretty fun as well. And then of course you get like armor chests, and maybe get some cool enchants or some cool synthesized stuff. So that's all right as well. Now the another big draw is that Gianna, if you look at her perk, okay, if you complete the contract, I mean, you get in, you grab the coin item that you would sell to Faustus. If you complete it, you make it out alive on lockdown, then you get a reveal. Now, why is that so important, right? Because you might be thinking, well, why don't I just reveal with this guy? If you don't know, you can just control click on Wakano, and you can put in a blueprint here. So control click on that, and look, so Wakano, he costs like, this is like 2,991, so 3,000 coins here, 3,200 coins here. If you don't know, there's like arrows right here, so you can reveal with Gianna. I have 33. Niles, I don't have it because I don't run with him usually. So 33 reveals. Now look at this. Now it's 1,700 instead of 1,991. This one is 1,946 coins. So let's just say like 2,000 coins instead of 3,200. So she saves you a massive amount of coins, and all you need to do to get this reveal is to complete a contract with her successfully. Okay, so that's insane, right? Because right now, I think it's like 100C for 40,000 coins. So, you know, yeah, you get 40 reveals with her, and you save like over 1,000 coins each time. You know, it's it's over 100 C, so almost 2 exalts saved, right? And you trust me, you'll want these reveals for later. Okay, but general strategy is like how I realize I do her for the wings, and the little rooms I'll use either Niles or Wakano, right? Oh, these reveals cap out. My friend MP told me that these reveals cap out at 255. You go over, you lose them, so be careful there, okay? Now, with that said, with the Grand Heist, let me take that out. Okay, so mostly she's just for the reveals and like divination card and stuff like that. It's kind of fun. Now, a huge thing about running Deception is that there are no doors on the way out, right? So most contracts, when you put it in and you run it on the way in, you're gonna have some doors that they need to do their job, you know, progress bar or not. It takes a while, you know, kind of annoying. But from my experience, okay, and this is I don't know if any other jobs have this with Gianna, or I guess Deception in general. When you make it to the end and you grab the artifact and it goes on lockdown, what's going to happen is on the way back out to get back to town, there will be no doors. Absolutely no doors to open whatsoever. You can just blow through the mobs. You can ignore the mobs. There won't be a single time where you have to wait for a master to open a door, do the disguise thing, right? And kind of lore-wise, it kind of makes sense because on the way in, you're like very sneaky and pretending, like putting on disguises. But on the way out, they kind of know, right? Because you killed everybody, you stole the thing, and they all know. So that like, theoretically, lore-wise, it makes sense. But it makes Deception so fun to play because you go in, right? A few doors here and there, but on the way out, very smooth, right? It feels like it should be like that for every contract, but that's one extra bonus for Gianna. So as the last 2 days, made like 60 exalts plus. From this tab is I have 2 currency tabs. This is like just from contracts, so 60 exalts and whatever else you see here that's unconverted yet. And these 3 have been the only ones I've done. I haven't done any other ones. I've done a blueprint. So like today I did 87 like heist things in total. I only failed 2 of them, I think. One of them I lost an exalt actually. So I had an exalt in one of them and I lost it because I died on the way out. So I actually have 61 exalts. And then so out of those, there was 3 grand heists, and the rest of them, so 87 minus 3, 84 of them, 84 minus the 2 that I failed, 82 of them were just regular heists. And once again, I only run lockpicking, demolition, and deception for now. That could change in the future when I want to try out other things or as more updates come out. And so yeah, it's been really fun. Other little tips. Okay, one other little tip that I want to give out, and this was like mentioned by someone in my chat, and we kind of tested this out, and it seems to be true and kind of important, is that the job level actually affects like the contract. So you see how like right there it says requires lockpicking 3, lockpicking 4, and lockpicking, and this is, or sorry, lockpicking 3, demolition 4, and deception 3. Okay, so it goes from job levels from 1 to 5, and they are perfectly weighted, because if you go to my contract, I have 2 quad tabs full of like 81 plus contracts. If you type in, the way you search for this is level like this. Okay, so this is level 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, and that's 5. And I ran a lot of my 5s and 4s already, so they might seem a little bit sparser. So if you look at that, they are each level when it drops, it's like probably like 20% chance for each, so it's evenly distributed. But what does a level 1 mean and a level 5 mean, right? Besides, like, you know, when you look at your followers, you know, you need them to be like level 5 or level 1, whatever. Okay, well, it actually pertains to the reward chest. So let me just give you an example. Let's say you do lockpicking, right? And this is a level 3, but let's say you put in a level 1. Okay, it says requires lockpicking level 1, and the way that you search for this, once again, is quotations level 1 and then space, and then out here you can type in the job you want, lockpicking, right? Or like, let's say you want demolition, right? So these require, let's see, level 1 demolition. These are all the level 1 demolitions, and that's how you search for it. Well, when you put it in, you're going to notice something, and that is, for example, lockpicking. I put it in, and I'll notice that there are 3 reward rooms in this contract. And what would I notice in those reward rooms? I'll notice that there is only 1 chest. Okay, there would never be like 2 chests when you put in a level 1 lockpicking, and that kind of makes sense because it's like you spent the time leveling, right? Like if you do like 83 contracts, it takes between level 4 and 5 like 20 contracts to level them up, given that you succeed all of them. So for a higher level master, yeah, you should be getting like better rewards, right? because for your time spent, kind of like the Atlas bonus. And so if you put in level 1, you'll have 3 rooms, 3 locked rooms with chests behind them, and they will only ever be one thing. Okay, just kind of like in White Mass with Cassie, the Blight, you probably won't get like 8 nodes that often, right? You'll probably get like 4 nodes, 5 nodes, whatever. So and I tested this with a lot of the level 1 contracts, and it seemed to be true on any of them. You can test it yourself, and what you do, you go in, you open your minimap, slide your minimap around like this with the arrow keys, right? Oh, it's actually changing the master too. And count how many reward icon chests there are. There's always 3, and there'll be 1 reward. Now, if you put it at level 5 for lockdown, that's why I ran all my level 5s today. If you put in level 5, what you're going to notice is that you still only have 3 reward rooms, 3 locked rooms with chests behind them. But those chests will they'll rarely be 1 chest. So level 5, you know, I'd see maybe like one of the rooms will have 2, one of the rooms will have 2, the other one might have 1 or 2. You know, it's like kind of random. And that is pretty darn cool, right? Because that means like a fifth of your contracts that you drop should be level 5, jobs required, right? If you're doing the high tier 81 to 83 contracts. And so that means like you're gonna get way more rewards by running those first. And if you run those first, you know, who knows what will happen? Maybe you get some good blueprints as well. Maybe you get some like bigger drops, right? Because like the variance is much smaller between like your big drops if you have just more good chests. So try to run your level 5s first if you can. It's not that big a deal, right? Like I was testing out some when I tested the 5s and 4s, it'd be like, you know, like 5 or 6 reward chests versus like 3, right? Because level 1 is always just 3 reward chests behind 3 rooms. Okay, so 1 behind each room. So you could try that. And then when I tried level 4, it was kind of like hit or miss, right? Sometimes it'd be 2, but a lot of time it'd be 1. So like level 5 guarantees that you get like some 2 chest rooms in behind the locked doors, right? Kind of important there if you want to be more efficient and get more out of your time. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Okay, how did I gear my guys? So let's take a look at lockpicking. How did I gear my cars? Well, the brooch is probably the most important item, right? So one thing that I really wanted is that I think about this. What is this guy mostly doing? And let's roll for that first, okay? But let me preface this by saying that it was extremely easy to get these rolls on cloaks, brooch, as long as you look at PWDB and find out you have the minimum eye level for it, right? So for Karst, Gianna, and Vindiri, which is who I focused on, it was really, really easy getting these 2 rolls. And I think that the brooch and the cloak are the most important. And these 2, like you can kind of like wait on these if you want to min-max these later. There's a nice Reddit thread that like gives one person's opinion on what the min max is, but there's a little bit of room to play around. So Karst lock picking, right? So my theme was like, okay, what is he mostly doing when I play with him? And that is once again lock picking, right? Currencies. So because I know the currency or the fragments chests are most likely to appear, and that they and I care about the currency the most, I want a brooch that has a chance to duplicate contained currency. So that's 12 right there. So tier 12% is, let's take a look at that. That is tier 2, right? So I'm gonna guess that tier 1 goes to like maybe 14% or something, but that was good enough for me. So because I take this guy in all my lock pickings, I'm like, okay, I'm going to equip this for currency. Now, obviously for your second one, if you had a second one, a second mod like that, you would want like maybe fragments, right? Because it's kind of cool. It does drop in the lock picking of things. And then there's also like a global quantity, but like in my opinion, I don't think that global quantity affects the chest, right? Just like how Magic Find doesn't affect clicking on a chest in a map or something like that. And so I think the quantity on a brooch, global quantity, Magic Find is only for killing the monsters. And in my experiences with my loot filter, I do have a stricter loot filter, but not like that strict. The monsters don't really drop anything. They just don't. They drop some like garbage follower items, you know, like if you're at the high level, you have the base eye level anyways for them. So it's like, yeah, it's like not even that great. So so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get the duplicate, the main thing that's most important in the contracts. Remember, I am doing ouch and go contracts. I'm not doing like that many blueprints and things like that. So I just want like in these like spamming of these contracts, I want the most benefits. So this is what I've rolled for this, right? Contained currency duplicated. Now the chest, I'm going for the tier 1 currently, the 12% reduce alert from raising the chest. You want the whisper woven cloak on all your guys except for Huck because he can't wear right? You want this one on everyone because the implicit is 5%, right? And the lower ones just have like they go down by 1%. So you want this role, the of silence suffix modifier, because if you get the 12 and then 12 plus 5, that's 17% reduced. Yeah, pretty good, right? So you want to get that role on everyone pretty much. And then after that, the other roles for me don't matter like too much. There's a lot of like other stuff you can get, but I'd say that is core. Okay, just alert reduction makes you get more chests. That's it. For this, I mean, there's a lot of mods that you can look at, you know, but the most important thing on the tool, the middle one, is probably you want to get a chance not to generate alert on the opening of chests, meaning that you open a big chest, you know, let's say your bar would go up like, I don't know, like 15%. There's an 8% chance here that just won't go up at all. I've seen this proc, so I know this works. And after that, there's like time on lockdown, like seconds added, but I haven't min-maxed that. All I really wanted on this guy was a chance not to generate any threat or any alert, right? And then this one doesn't matter. You can get all kinds of like damage or auras on here, okay? But I'm not gonna talk about this one because this is like up to you. Try to get that not generate alert level if you can, and if not, you know, oh well, it's not as important as these two. Okay, so Gianna, it's kind of the same thing. The cloak, exact same reasoning. The brooch, remember Gianna drops a lot of div cards. There's a lot of div card chests. Okay, and so here, what I was going for is I want her to be able to duplicate divination cards, right? Makes perfect sense because I only run her on deception, and I run her a lot on deception. So the scarabs, I guess, is kind of nice because div cards do have a related scarab, the divination scarab, and you know, maybe I duplicate a divination scarab. Okay, it's really not that noticeable, but I think the divination cards one I think that one's kind of cool. And so I equip this one, right? Same rules here. This one, once again, chance not to generate alert level on opening a chest using deception. There we go. So chance not to raise alert. Okay, and this one doesn't really matter. I would say that like they did speed up deception. It's not as annoying. Niles is super annoying because he's like bugged out or whatever. But a little bit of job speed is like kind of cool, but you don't really need it. Okay. And then for Vindiri, exactly the same thing. You know, we have the cloak with the reduction on there. For this one, you know, he's doing deli orbs, right? He's doing deli orbs and splinters and things like that. That's his big drop. So you know, he already has a chance to duplicate. I don't know if this is like additive or a separate chance. I have no idea. Someone smarter than me will figure that out, but as long as you have that, it's kind of cool, right? You could also have this have duplicating delirium, or sorry, not delirium, metamorph or blight stuff, right? It doesn't really matter. Maybe you can get two of them, and then yeah, the other things are just kind of whatever. So that's kind of what I'm using, like the general gist of it. It's not min-maxed in any way because it just doesn't matter, right? Like it's like I've been playing all day, and the monies is good enough for me. It's not the best. It's not as good as like super juice mapping. It's not as good as group play. It's not as good as like probably not as good as like copying these blueprints that people are doing now. I might try that tomorrow. But it is a decent amount of money, right? As you can see with the 60 exalts, we are what's 60 divided by 70? Because that's the price of 60 divided by 7 is 85.7% of the way to a headhunter. So in 2 days, 85% of the way to a headhunter. Tomorrow we'll have it guaranteed. And so I might just like start doing the grand heist tomorrow. So let me give you an update on today's progress on the like headhunter project, right? If you guys didn't see the last video, I'm trying to farm a headhunter by just doing what I just stated, the alch and go contracts only, with some blueprints thrown in when I sell the curios, and I use the coins I get from the contracts that I ran, right? Not ones that I bought. And so we're actually at like 60.7. So one thing about today is I dropped a lot of exalts. I'll talk about a trinket. Once again, converting things. I was actually, I filled up 4 quad taps today. Like I said from the last video, I was going to be a lot more efficient today, and I did run more. Yesterday's was 66 things run with like 5 blueprints. Today, if we look at my map watch, Erosin, 87. Okay, actually, let me pull it up here, just so you guys can see I'm not like just making up these numbers here. Let me choose file, client.txt, and once again, the website is called mapwatch.erosin. Okay. Oh, it's actually 82. Sorry, it was 82. I was actually less than I thought. Okay, let me pull this up real quick. Where's my Chrome browser? Property. Okay, there it is. So this is mapwatch.erosin.org, and so today I did 82 of these maps. It counts them as maps, and I went through and I checked. I have 3 blueprints ran. Okay, 3 of them. That's it. And the rest. So that means 79 of them. My numbers before were wrong, I guess, because I actually did less. So 79 of them were regular contracts, and remember, 2 of them I failed. I died, and I did not get the rewards to take out. So that means, a little bit more efficient than today, but today I really focus on lock picking a lot. That was kind of exciting, more so than, and I think that's why I dropped more pure exalts, but also because I tried out this trinket. Let me close this here. And so I was a little bit more, I filled out 4 quad tabs, which is more than I did yesterday, and I was more conservative on my converting. Some of like these little fragments and like splinters and things, I just like threw into my other tab without giving the C for the price. Didn't sell any of the essences or anything like that. Didn't sell a lot of stuff. Just I sold like some divines, which I have here. I sold a lot of the chisels. I didn't sell the GPs. I sold the fusings, the harbinger orbs, the horizon orbs, and the alterations. Okay. But once again, taking like conservative rates and everything, and we ended with 60 exalts and whatever else you see here. Now here is something that I have to mention, because it is like kind of crazy, right? There's this trinket out there right now. This one's like a 36 exalt trinket, 4% chance for regal orbs to drop as exalt orbs instead. So if you remember from yesterday's video, we ended with like 102 regal orbs or something like that, which means since I've never sold the regal orbs off, and I've only these quad tabs, dump tabs are only for the contracts. It means that today I dropped about 160 regal orbs. So 160 times the trinket, the 0.04. That means that I should like between 6 and 7 pure exalt drops from the regals, if we understand that correctly, right? Yesterday I didn't have the trinket, and I dropped 1 exalted pure. So today I dropped 11 exalted pure with the trinket, and I'll go into that. So well, actually, okay, wait, one of them I didn't pick up. Okay, so let's just say that this is like with 10. One of them I died, remember, in the regular heist, so I couldn't pick it up. So let's take out the 10, right? So that means that today I want to be above 2/3, and so 50, if we take out every exalt, right? If we attribute every exalt, not just like the 6 or 6.57 that could be attributed to the regal based on these percentages, then we are at 50. So 50 divided by 70 is, what is that? That's like 71%. So we're still over 2/3 of the way to the header, even with no exalt drops counted. Okay. Now, I feel that this trinket is really insane, because at the end there I spent 3 exalts of this. So I took the 3 exalts out of here to buy a beast split contract from someone else. All right, a blueprint which had like 17 currency rooms or something like that. And I took the trinket in, and I got in the first one I got 2 pure exalts, which is kind of nice. I don't know if it's RNG or not. People are reporting really good results, like 2 to 3 exalts pure per one of these contracts. And then from the other currency, all the small currencies, I did make back the cost of the beast split, which was 174C, and then a little bit more, right? So, and the basically like the 3, yeah, it's basically like 3 exalts and a little bit of change. So it was profitable, but I'm not really sure about how much, because of the time spent and like the annoyance of trading for beast splitting and things like that. So though that is included in here as well. But remember, I took the 3 exalts out to buy that contract. I made only 2 exalts pure back, and the rest was in smaller currencies. So yeah, once again, if you take all that, it's still 1/3 of a header per day just by running alch and go contracts. So very good here. And I would recommend, so the takeaway basically is that anyone trying to farm currency, if you don't like mapping, you don't want to set up your Alice, right? You can't find the maps, you don't know how to put in the watchstones, you don't want to do sextants and then select them at mission and then put in like a map, like scares and stuff, all that micromanagement. You don't want to fight Cyrus Conqueror, spawn them, like, and then like go from zone to zone. You don't have to. It's totally fine if you enjoy Heist to run nothing but Heist, and that's what I've been doing the last 2 days. You can watch, once again, the VOD in its entirety, unedited, is on my Twitch channel. You can watch how the runs went, and there's some hilarious stuff going on there. And yeah, you can just run contracts all day long, and you will have the exalts to fund any build you want, really. Okay, you'll be able to get your badge of the Brotherhood, right? 30 to 40 exalts, your Headhunter 70 exalts, right? It just takes a few days. All right, you really gotta like grind. I'm playing like 8 to 10 hours a day. Obviously it's maybe a little bit skewed, so maybe double, triple, quadruple that time for you guys, but just know that contracts are definitely worth running. They're not the best form of currency, but it is really, really special to be able to take a tab of like contracts, right? Alch them, reroll them for the things that you don't do, and then it's truly alch and go. You put it in, you run it, you come back out, you dump your loot, you go in again, and that's amazing, right? That feels really nice. There's no micromanagement, and I've really been enjoying it. You guys should try it out, give it another chance. One thing to note is that these contracts I've heard people say that you can buy them for 1C each for 80 plus. And so even if you had to buy every contract because you don't have any contract, like maybe you don't have like 1,500 contracts, you know, like I do, but you can just buy them and you run them, right? Maybe buy like 20 at a time, buy 10 at a time, run them, right? Buy some more with the money you make. And once you do that, I think you'll find that it's quite fair in terms of the returns, and yeah, and so you won't be like, oh, I'm poor, right? Just play a little bit longer, you know, play a little bit more, and you'll get all the good loots. Okay, so that's my video. If you have any questions, you can ask me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/qjoke_. And okay, that's it. Thanks for watching my video. Okay, bye guys, bye.